when you're an adult. So, Gillian, do you want to speak to what neuroconvergence means to you and for what you're doing?
Sure. So I'm from Neuropride Ireland, and we're a cross neurodivergence organisation. We take a very wide, broad umbrella of neurodivergence, not just your big guns of autism and ADHD, with dyspraxia, dyslexic, dyscalculia, the more stigmatised conditions around BPD and MPD and all these kind of things. So we reformed because we recognised this. We're not just one thing. We're not just one. Like, it actually came about after an Autistic Pride event when we were talking, and we were like, why are we allowing people to silo us off? Why are we letting people decide for us that you're autistic or you're ADHD or and we're multifaceted, and all these things impact and work together to make us up who we are. And we were sick of having to leave parts of our identity elsewhere to join a specific group or a specific organisation. So for us, this idea of neuroconvergence is something that's core to what we do and what we want to do. So when we were invited here, we were like, yeah, this is what needs to happen. We're allowing people who aren't of our community to silo us off and decide, and it's a deliberate thing as well. If you silo us all off and we're all in our individual bits, then we're not working together and we're not as strong a voice as we actually are. And when we work together, we will actually be able to make a huge groundswell of change. Because when we were talking earlier on in the meeting earlier on, we were talking about the need for a paradigm shift, a need for a change in the way people think. But the wider community, not just us, the wider community, there's a need for a paradigm shift. We need to change the way people talk about neurodivergence and recognise it as a human rights issue, and that our human rights are being denied to us and to our children and to people that we care about. And that comes from this idea of, when we all start working together, we'll become a voice that they can't ignore anymore. Historically, they've tried to do it. They've tried to divide us. They'll be like, oh no, like they'll have meetings for parents of, without recognising that an enormous amount of neurodivergent people are parents. I'm a parent, I'm neurodivergent, and we'll get invited to meetings or to be on panels as a neurodivergent person, or as a parent, but never as a neurodivergent parent. Do you know, that kind of way? So why are we allowing that to happen? And it's only through events like this where we're able to all get together and, it sounds a bit kumbaya, but get along, that we can actually change that and work together as organisations and as individuals to force that kind of paradigm change and go, look, we're actually I'm running out of my words now. It's been a long day of talking. We actually are. You need to recognise us and recognise the way that all of our neurodivergence impacts us. And, I think we were talking about this whole idea. For me, what it comes down to is this useful reality, which it's a concept from Autism Level Up, if anybody knows them. We're not saying that to recognise neurodiversity and to talk about neurodiversity, obviously we have the word pride in our name. We're very proud of being neurodivergent. I don't want to not be neurodivergent. But for me, it's that idea of, we're not saying everything's great. We're not saying it's all sunshine, lollipops and rainbows. But it is not all doom and gloom. Going back to what you said, it is not all tragedy. It is not all deficit. It is not all... And that's why things like this are important, to show our community and the multifaceted nature of it and how important it is. I'm sorry, I went off on a waffle there, sorry.
That's great. No, you answered the question and then some. So